I have told you this, so that when their time comes, you will remember that I warned you about them. I did not tell you this from the beginning because I was with you. But now I am going to him who sent me. None of you asks me, "Where are you going?" Rather, you are filled with grief because I have said these things. But very truly I tell you, it is for your good that I am going away. Unless I go away, the Advocate will not come to you, but if I go, I will send him to you. When he comes, he will prove the world to be in the wrong about sin and righteousness and judgment. About sin, because people do not believe in me. About righteousness, because I am going to the Father, where you can see me no longer. And about judgment, because the prince of this world now stands condemned.
We are witnessing an intimate moment where Jesus, before his departure, shares his final thoughts with his disciples. It's a moment filled with emotions, uncertainty, but also deep spiritual truth that transcends all ages and cultures. Jesus says, "I am going to him who sent me." For the disciples, it marks a farewell to their teacher, friend, and master. For Jesus, it is a return to the Father and the fulfillment of his mission. This event in his life becomes a symbol of our own returns to the source, to what is most essential in our lives. In today's world, where so many feel lost, overlooked, or lonely, the promise of the arrival of the Paraclete, the Holy Spirit, shines like a light at the end of a dark tunnel. Jesus says, "It is to your advantage that I go away, for if I do not go away, the Comforter will not come to you." In the face of the world's large and small crises, these words might seem paradoxical. Must we really lose something to gain? Must there be a departure for salvation to come? Jesus speaks of his return to the Father as a completion, a conclusion of the work he came to perform on earth. His death on the cross and resurrection crown God's plan of salvation. Apostle Paul, in the first chapter of the letter to the Ephesians, later wrote that God put all things under his feet and appointed him to be head over everything for the church. Christ's death is not a tragic end, but a triumph and a new beginning. The Holy Spirit comes to convict the world concerning sin and reveal righteousness. This is challenging for people, but necessary. In a world that shuts itself off from Jesus' teachings, we need someone to help us understand the true meaning of the Master's words. Sin here is not just a lack of religious fidelity, but a closure to the ideals of love, justice, and truth that Jesus brought to the earth. How often do we close our eyes and turn our heads in the face of inconvenient truth? The Holy Spirit came to open our eyes to sin. A world that rejects Christ is one that chooses a palette of shadows over light. In the 10th chapter of the letter to the Hebrews, we read, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful." Thanks to the Holy Spirit, we have the power to persist in truth, despite numerous temptations and adversities. Thus, we are not left alone. The Holy Spirit is our comforter, guide, and defender. In the 5th chapter of the first epistle of Peter, it warns, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy the devil prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." This is a sinister vision of what is happening around us. But it is through the power of the Spirit that we can resist and not succumb to temptations. To endure in the Spirit, it is worthwhile to talk to God daily or pray. Knowledge of the Holy Scriptures serves as a moral compass, and participating in the life of a religious community provides support and encouragement. It is also crucial to practice honesty, self-control, and consciously avoid occasions of sin. Is virtue merely the absence of opportunity? Not necessarily. It is a conscious choice of proper conduct. Engaging in charitable activities and reflecting on one's own life helps strengthen resistance to temptation. Supported by prayer, community, and personal discipline, one can effectively cope with the challenges of the modern world while remaining faithful to spiritual principles. Let this week be a time for us to reflect on whether we live as victors or as the defeated. Remember, it is not by our strength, but by the power of Christ that we can walk the path illuminated by the Holy Spirit. Let us accept this with humility and gratitude, preparing to act in a world that desperately needs the truth about God's love and justice. May God bless us all.